Hi everybody, it's Liv Swanston, and this is my reinvention project. This is the chair I chose. I found it on the side of the road a few years ago and decided I wanted to turn this rocking chair into a rocking ottoman. In order to do that, I would have to remove the back and then fill in the holes from doing so. The company Blockhouse was founded in 1971 and only produced occasional tables at that time. They are based in Pennsylvania and they stand for quality over quantity. It's safe to say that this chair design was most inspired by mid-century modern Scandinavian bentwood, which lasted from 1945 to 1965. One of the most memorable chairs from this era was the short chair, designed by Marcel Breuer in London in 1936. Now let's start the building process. First, I made a mixture of Bondo to fill the holes that were left over from removing the back. I then got out my orbital sander and started to remove the excess material from the Bondo. Now that my surface is smooth, I started to remove the layers of finish underneath with an 80 grit sandpaper, and I worked my way up to 120. Once all surfaces were sanded, I started to research the best primer. I'm using Kills primer, and I started spraying each surface evenly. After the first layer, I went in with 220 grit sandpaper and started sanding out any roughness. I then went in with the second coat. Once the primer dried, I went in with a bright orange spray paint. Now we start the seat of the ottoman. I first started creating an angle to match the back and removing all the hard edges and corners. I then traced out my seat on a piece of foam, and then I cut it with an electric knife, making sure that all my corners were round. I cut out a slant to match the same angle as the wood in the back of the chair. I cut my batting straight to the edge on the side and then left extra room on the front and back. I sprayed a generous amount of spray adhesive to attach my foam, and then I sprayed a light amount for the batting. I cut my fabric about 6 inches away from my seat. I started in the middle and went back and forth from either side and gradually made my way to the corners. I flipped in the other 2 sides and repeated the process. While I was stapling, I made sure I was pulling the fabric tight, leaving no wrinkles on the sides, and this was my end result. Moving on to the corners, I did 2 folds in the front and left the back seamless to really focus on that slant effect. Here I am cutting away the excess material and stapling it down so that you won't see it hang underneath. Now I'm on to my final steps where I install the seat to the frame, and I'm using L brackets to do so. I then put the last 2 brackets in a clamp and bent them backwards in order to fit the form of the chair. As you can see, I've mentioned before, it's at a slant. Here is the final result. I learned so much in this process, and I really hope you guys enjoyed the video.